Welcome back to Ozarks Live. It's time for another edition of Dollars and Cents. So we are going live out to Tom now from the Resource Center. Tom, how's it going?
You know, it's going fine. And yes, this is Dollars and Cents. Normally, you'll see Bruce Porter with me, but now you're going to see John Schaeffer. And this is kind of a sub-chapter. It's called Schaeffer Says.
That's right.
Good to see you, first of all, John.
Good to see you again.
Okay, we're going to talk about something that should be on everybody's list, and that's insurance. You don't just buy insurance and leave it. You have to pay attention to it.
That's right. You got to pay attention to it. And today, we're going to talk about motorcycle liability insurance.
All right.
Are you underinsured? That's the big topic of today, especially if you have a motorcycle. So one thing we've got is inflation is a 40-year high right now. So, you know, everybody sees it, everybody feels it. New car and used cars prices have increased. So what we're looking at with this liability is, you know, if you've got a motorcycle and you ram into someone's car, you know, probably originally that car was 20 grand, now maybe worth 25, you know, or 30. So you're going to have enough coverage to pay for that person's car.
Right. In other words, you know, if you bang somebody's car, 5 years ago, that may have been a $300 bang.
Yeah.
Now it's a $1,300 bang.
Right. That's right.
So you have to keep and speak to your agent. Upgrade your
That's
coverage.
right, yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, so basically, risk of being underinsured. If it's your fault and exceeds your coverages, so like state minimum coverages is $25,000, $50,000 total, $25,000 on property. So exceeds those, you personally could be liable for that. And you don't want that. So you want to make sure you carry those higher limits. You know, 100, 300 is what we recommend to our clients.
Right, and because that last line.
That's right.
I mean, that's about as you need to be aware of this as it gets.
That's right. So we look at debts could basically last a lifetime. So like if you, let's say you run into somebody or even a pedestrian and you injure them, you could be sued for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we don't want that. So
things can disappear from your life because of this.
that's right. They could, you know, they could garnish your, you know, your assets, your wages coming in.
Right.
So really want to stay protected.
Okay.
So just tips from Schaeffer here. Know your policy limits, especially I know a lot of people come in for quotes and they don't necessarily know what their policy limits are. You know, there's a couple different, there's 25, 50 is the lowest. And then we go 50, 100 limits, and then we go 100, 300, and then 250, 500, and we have a $500,000. So add an umbrella. That's one thing I recommend to all of our clients.
Okay, you need to, it's more than just something to hold the rain off.
That's right. That's right.
Explain what an umbrella policy is.
Okay, so your umbrella policy, usually we do $1 million to $5 million umbrella. That's going to piggyback on top of your auto or your motorcycle insurance and your homeowner's insurance.
Okay.
So for an example, if I go out there and have an accident and I have $250,000, $500,000 coverage, and the accident goes above that $250,000, my $1 million umbrella is going to kick in and basically pay that claim for me.
You're protecting yourself as well as others.
Right, protecting that and your assets. And that's our biggest thing is you don't want to be sued and lose everything you have or your nest egg.
Something you've worked for your whole life.
That's
and
right.
it can disappear because you decided to go cheap on the insurance.
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You get cheap insurance, you pay what you get. So,
all right.
So one thing we recommend, increase medical coverages for riders, especially this is UTVs or ATVs. If you're out there and you've got 3 or 4 kids in your UTV and you go out there and flip it, your regular motorcycle policy, there's medical coverage you can add extra, would pay for that. But if you just go out there and crash it, it's not going to cover if you don't have that medical coverage.
And once again, some of the riders may be like friends of the family.
Yeah.
Now you're in a different family. It's a whole different thing all of a sudden. Yeah.
So you can usually add, and that's motorcycles too, you can do a $1,000 minimum up to $25,000 on added medical coverage. And that would kick in to help those people who got hurt or had to go to the hospital. So added coverages for accessories. One thing we want to look at is like all these UTVs that come out more or 25 to 30,000 could be. And what we look at is basically on that, you want to make sure all that stuff's insured. So if you have doors, roll bars, anything of that nature, it's fully insured.
Okay, now, you know, you're talking about taking on more coverage and stuff like this.
Right.
How can you save on doing this kind of stuff?
So one thing that we can do, we talked about, increase your deductibles. You can still $500 deductible, you could do $1,000. You could bundle your home, auto, and your ATV insurance with one company, and that's one thing we recommend with our clients, is bundling those together and getting a discount on each one.
Right, okay, all right. Now, I noticed garage your bike. that could also pertain to ATVs and things, watercraft as well. I mean, all of this you
All
gotta
that.
look at.
So if you're not riding your Harley in the winter, you can actually put a layup period or garage it and put comp only, which means like if it burns or gets stolen, it's still covered by insurance, but you're not covered for liability if you're driving on the streets.
All right, now we're saying take a safety course, inflation is high, shop around. That's where they come to you.
That's right.
All right, how do they get that information and be able to set things up with
That's
you?
right. So one thing we write right here is you can scan the QRC code here. You can feel free to call my number here at the office at 417-882-1800, and then we'll be happy to shop your insurance and get you the best rates out there.
All right, John, thanks for all your advice. We appreciate it.
And then tune in next week. We'll have Roy here talking about disability.
Sounds great. All right, dollars and cents. Back to you.
Thanks, Tom.